Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, people living in Pulaski County are now on day 3 of cleaning up after a tornado touchdown Friday afternoon. And a nationwide baby formula shortage is making mothers frustrated, desperate, and worried about how they will feed their children.
Gorgeous weather continues through much of the work week, though things will be getting warm this week. The details are coming up next at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYNT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. People in Pulaski County are still cleaning up after Friday's storms. The National Weather Service confirmed an EF1 tornado touchdown. The fire chief in Burnside says his community had no warning and they have no tornado sirens. But the chief talked to Allie Blake about the plan to protect the community from future storms.
It's a quiet day here in Pulaski County, but that wasn't the case on May 6th when a tornado touched down across the lake, leaving trees damaged and homes destroyed. That's when the Burnside Fire Department sprang into action.
It was pretty hectic, but we actually managed it pretty well. It functioned pretty smoothly as far as the fire side goes.
James Martin is chief of the Burnside Fire Department, and they were originally responding to a camper fire when the winds picked up and the clouds got dark.
Once out of the fire, we got notified of the tornado coming through, so actually we had crews break off and go assist with the road department.
The damage from the storm spanned over 3 miles, starting in Bronson before moving across the lake and then through Burnside, affecting neighborhoods and the local speedway.
We're actually working on a weather alert system here for the city. We're in the process of getting tornado siren installed here for the city.
The city does not currently have tornado sirens, but because there wasn't a warning during the time of touchdown, the sirens wouldn't have alarmed anyways. That's why it's important to stay weather prepared.
Pretty much just pay close to those weather alerts. I mean, sometimes people look at them and they don't, really read a lot into them, but sometimes those alerts can save your lives.
While it still will take a while for people to pick up the pieces, officials are just fortunate that most of the county was left unscathed. In Pulaski County, Allie Blake, WKYT.
The chief says the tornado siren should be installed in the coming weeks in Burnside. The Big South Fork National River and Recreation Area will help people wanting to visit or do some minor cleanup at remote cemeteries in the park on May 27th and 28th. People who are physically unable to walk round trip will be provided transportation from a designated area on a first-come, first-served basis. Big South Fork is located in northeastern Tennessee and southeastern Kentucky. A UK football player is facing a DUI charge. UK police arrested running back Chris Rodriguez early yesterday morning. Officers say they originally pulled him over because his taillights were not working. Police say he appeared visibly under the influence and admitted to having shots at Bell's Bar. Rodriguez is the SEC's top returning rusher. He's the second Wildcat charged with DUI this offseason. We've reached out to UK Athletics for a statement but have not heard back. Rodriguez will be arraigned on Friday. 2 16-year-olds have been charged with complicity to murder in the Thanksgiving Day shooting death of a 15-year-old in Jefferson County last year. Cortez Duncan Jr. was shot several times and ultimately died at University Hospital after officers found him around 2:30 a.m. Louisville Metro Police Department officials say a second 15-year-old was also shot, but his current condition has not been released. The teens are also facing charges of possession of a handgun by a minor and possession of a defaced firearm.
Well, it's been a gorgeous afternoon around the mountains. We've got plenty more where that came from as we head not only into the evening hours, but over the next few days as well. We got high pressure in place. That means warm air and blue skies around the region, and plenty of it coming up. INOB camera at UVA-Wise, not a cloud in the sky, sitting at 72 right now into portions of Wise County. Down the Mountain Parkway at Slade, looking pretty nice on the Wolf-Powell County line right now. Yes, it's looking nice just about everywhere. Low to middle, or I should say middle to upper 70s around the area. But look out into the Cumberland Valley. They're in the low 80s. Monticello's hit 80 this afternoon, and so has Somerset, sitting at 81. Everybody else, though, sitting in those middle 70s, so very pleasant out there. Factor in the dew points. Now we do have some upper 50s trying to sneak in across portions of the Cumberland Valley, but everybody being in the upper 40s to near 50 means it's dry, it's not humid. There's nothing to look at on pinpoint Doppler. We back out and you see the entire eastern half of the country is in fantastic shape tonight. So keep that WYNT weather app handy just in case. Into those low to mid 70s this evening. That turns into the 60s as we head into the nighttime. We wake up in the 50s in the morning. We stay clear all night. I'll have the very latest on when we could see even more sunshine, gorgeous temperatures on the way in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. A White House warning: the U.S. could see a huge wave of COVID-19 cases this fall and winter, renewing calls on Congress to approve more money for COVID relief. In March, the Biden administration requested more than $22 billion in extra COVID-19 relief money. An agreement was reached on a scaled-back funding package less than half that size, but Congress left Washington in April without passing that bipartisan bill. Without that money, White House officials say the U.S. may not have enough resources to prepare for a surge.
We will not have enough of those vaccines for all Americans. We're going to run out of treatments. We're going to run out of testing.
New daily COVID-19 cases are trending up now in most states. Hospitalizations are up in about half of states compared to last week, including most of the Northeast, but they are still lower than most points of the pandemic. There is an ongoing shortage of baby formula across the country. Some stores are putting limits on how much parents can buy, creating an added strain for families. It's also impacting a Lexington nonprofit. Samantha Valentino tells us how the nonprofit is working to help families.
Many parents walking down the baby food aisle are seeing this: near empty shelves. And stores like Walmart are limiting the number of units individuals can purchase per day. The out-of-stock rate of baby formula nationwide was 31% in early April and jumped up to 40% in just 2 weeks.
The Nest is a Lexington-based nonprofit providing various services, including family assistance and basic human needs distribution. They are seeing a shortage in baby formula donations, but they are working to help individuals obtain formula in other ways.
We give out gift cards to places like Kroger and Target, wherever they're selling formula. They can make those trips themselves and maybe they'll get lucky. So if there's any kind of indirect assistance we can provide to them to help them better acquire that formula, we'll do that too.
Baby formula is a necessity for parents, and the shortage is leaving many unsure of what to do.
Because of this shortage, they're confused. They don't know where to go. They've just been given a random number and hope that we have a decent supply. And unfortunately, the answer for us in a lot of cases has been no. So they're kind of scrambling, trying to work with friends or family or whoever to try to put money together to go to stores, even outside of Lexington in some cases, to buy what they need.
The Nest is a donation-based organization, and they are always looking for donations, including baby formula, to help their clients. In Lexington, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Supply chain issues, along with the FDA shutdown of an Abbott nutrition manufacturing plant in Michigan, are compounding the problem. Turning now to the intense debate over the possibility Roe v. Wade might be overturned. During the weekend, protesters gathered and tensions continued to increase across the country. In a weekend interview with USA Today, Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell said it is possible there could be a nationwide ban on abortion if the court overturns Roe v. Wade and if Republicans win control of Congress. Police in Madison, Wisconsin are investigating a possible politically motivated arson attack at a local anti-abortion organization. Inside, there are clear signs of fire damage, and outside, vandalism. The words, "If abortions aren't safe, then you aren't either," were spray painted on the building's walls. The group's president believes the crime was motivated by a possible overturning of Roe v. Wade. The youth-led movement Generation Ratify Virginia saw at least 1,000 students at 45 schools agree to walk out of classes today. Students are hosting demonstrations to demand federal and state measures that will codify Roe v. Wade, including the certification of the Equal Rights Amendment in the Constitution. Numerous students who did not participate in the walkout still showed support by wearing green. Russian President Vladimir Putin reiterated his accusation that the West left him no choice but to invade Ukraine at Russia's Victory Day parade today. Putin said that Russia, quote, repelled this aggression in a preventive way. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky vowed his country will win the war.
We are free people who have their own path. Today, we are waging war on this path, and we will not give anyone a single piece of our land.
Over the weekend, a new slate of sanctions were introduced, including the U.S. cutting off Kremlin-controlled media outlets from American advertisers and banning Russia from using some American consulting services. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky presented a medal to a bomb-sniffing dog yesterday. Patron, a Jack Russell Terrier, was accompanied by his handler to receive the honor, recognizing his courage. Patron barked during the presentation and wagged his tail, prompting some laughter from the audience. A nearly 200-year-old home in Union, West Virginia is repaired to its former glory. Neighbors say it was in disarray just a couple of years ago, but with new ownership, the home has since been restored and will soon be ready for occupants. Ben Schwartz has the story.
19th century floors, wallpaper, doors, and much more. Preserved through time and now refurbished as Union locals take a look at the home they previously saw as irreparable.
Everything that was here remains.
Zolik says he and his wife purchased the home just a year and a half ago. The original owner, a Confederate soldier named Christopher Byrne, has at least one descendant still in town, a key reason to keep the history inside alive.
Our first purpose is to restore it and save it, you know. After that, we'll decide. The key here is it's not really about generating profit for us, and it's not about us. It's about what positive effect can be brought to a community.
It's not the first historic building in town Zolik has worked to restore either. Valuable experience he's able to put to use once again, nearly 200 years after this home was first constructed.
It's important to look at the details that exist in an old building to see which ones go back to the earliest times and choose a reference point for where you want to preserve to. And so in the case of this house, as you see on the sign, 1825, we decided to just stay with the 1825 look and feel.
Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, it's a task many adult children will one day help their parents tackle: signing up for Medicare. What to watch for when you need to navigate the system.
And our summer preview got its start today, but more warm air continues this week. The very latest on how warm we get, straight ahead.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen.